Hello and welcome back everyone. When you buy a machine vise through a mill, it may or may not be keyed to fit your mill table. If it is keyed, it may not be the correct size to fit your T-slots. In this video I'll show you how to accurately key a vise through a mill and how to tram multiple vices for holding long workpieces. I bought these vices some time ago and although I've used them, they haven't been keyed and trammed. G'day, I'm Steve-O and welcome to the Outback Shed. Before I start, I want to assess the vices to ensure that I have the best match between the vices and swivel bases. They are the same vertex make and size and I did purchase them together, but that doesn't mean that they're a matched pair. The surface plate is a good place to start to assess the height of the vices and look for any differences. If there are differences in height, it will translate to an error value in the Z-axis. The way to correct that will be to match the vices and swivel bases to minimise the error, then surface grind the bases and the vice bottoms to cancel the error. But that's just not going to happen as I don't have a surface grinder. Luckily, the vices look within tolerance as they are. The first thing to make is a tramming block. An offcut of aluminium 65 by 50mm will do and I'll cut it to 200mm long. I can use the offcut for a future project. I'll clean up the sides of the 75mm face mill. It's not important what the dimensions are, only that the faces are clean and flat. For the ends I'll use a long series aluminium grade end mill. It's had a lot of use on Sea and Better Days, but it's the only long series end mill I have, so it will just have to do. I'll then finish them off with 1.5mm chamfers all round. I'll drill 13mm holes right through and counterbore them to take 12mm socket head cap screws. I'll start with a 7.5mm pilot hole, then run a 13mm drill through to bring it to size. Using a 16mm high-speed steel slot drill, I'll machine a 1.5mm deep groove between the holes. These will be for the keys. To hold the keys in place, I'll drill 2 holes and thread them M6. All of these are centered on the bottom face of the block. Turning the block upside down, I can work on the top face. I can now counterbore the 13mm holes to 20mm to take the cap screws. Time to spin up the Colchester and make the locating keys. I choose to differ from the conventional and make vice keys from aluminium and not steel, and I like round keys not flat. I don't like flat steel keys as there's a possibility of swarf being wedged between the key and the T-slot. If the key becomes tight on the T-slot, it will be difficult to remove the vice. Using aluminium makes sense as it's softer than steel and more forgiving if tight. Also, the key is for location only and not for load bearing. This makes a round aluminium key the choice for me. Why make 4 when you can make a few spares as well? After fitting the keys, I'll bolt the tramming block to the mill table. I'll now need to finish machining the block to accept the vise. The inserts on the face mill have seen better days, so I'll turn them to the second edge. The face mill is designed for aluminium and the inserts are quite aggressive. I do have another face mill of this brand and it takes inserts twice as big as these. The most important faces are the top and the back. These will locate the vise for machining the key slots. I'll run the old end mill around the front and back to locate the vise jaws, and I'll resurface the top to locate the base of the vise. Remachining these surfaces will ensure that the vise jaws and bases are in alignment with the table. Before I mount the vise on the block, I'll ensure that the witness mark on the vise is aligned with the scale on the swivel base. This is important. I can now locate the vise onto the block, and it's easy to see how the block both supports and aligns the vise. I located the 16mm slot drill over the base mounting slot. I can now machine a 16mm slot 1.5mm deep across the vise. The end mill is in line as best as I can get it with the bolt location slots. Any variance can be remachined with the end mill. The important thing is to ensure that the witness mark aligns with the scale. I can now drill and tap M6 holes to mount the keys. I have the DRO zeroed and the Y-axis locked off to ensure that the same settings are used for the B vise. This won't ensure perfect symmetry between the vices, but it will allow both vices to be trammed individually. The location screws for the keys sits in the middle of the bolt circle in the swivel base. Although the swivel base was not machined to accept alignment keys, the vise base is pre-machined, both for X and Y axis mounting. As an assessment, I bolted both vices to the table with both vices keyed. This will allow me to assess how even the vices are. I'll then loosen the vice mounting bolts and allow the vices to float on the bases. Clamping a 32mm stainless steel bar into Vise A, then allowing Vise B to align itself when the jaws are tightened, will ensure even jaw pressure on both sides of the jaws without distorting the workpiece. The vices are mounted 900mm apart, and that's about 3 feet. As expected, there is a y-axis error, in this case about 0.04mm. It was never going to be perfect, that's just how it is. The correct way to tram 2 or more vices is to have Vise A keyed and the jaws trammed to the mill. Then mount Vise B without the keys to allow it to float. Then tram Vise B to equal Vise A by using a stainless steel bar. I can get Vise B close, but there will still need to be some fine adjustments. The stainless steel bar is the best I have. It's ground and polished, but it's still only a bar of steel. Once I'm happy with the numbers, I can lock down Vise B and I'm good to go. The result is 2 vices trammed to hold long parts accurately. With the vices this far apart, I would likely need additional support for the part in between them. In some cases, I may even need a third vise. Well, that's it for this video. I haven't seen a lot of videos on keying and tramming mill vices, so perhaps this video will fill a gap. I hope this may be of interest to you if you have a vise which is not yet keyed. Please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. It will be nice to have you on board. Thanks for watching. Be productive, be creative, but most importantly, be safe in your shed. I'll catch you next time.